The Plumbing Marketing Profits Podcast. Interviews with $1 million plus plumbing and HVAC business owners on how they market and grow their companies in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they are doing to keep their phone ringing, trucks running, and businesses booming. With your host, Josh Nelson.
Well, hey guys, this is Josh Nelson with the Plumbing Marketing Profits Podcast. I want to thank you for joining us. I'm really excited today to be interviewing Dan Dowdy from S&D Plumbing out of the Austin, Texas market. They've had a tremendously successful business that's grown significantly over the last since the 1980s. And I'm excited to have Dan on the phone. So, Dan, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast and to share some of your experience and some of your learnings and how you're really marketing the company and how you're really accomplishing such great success within the business. Let's start, if you don't mind. Just tell us a little bit about your company, a little bit of background in terms of how long you've been in business, approximate revenues, numbers of trucks, just some of the background information that everybody likes to know.
Okay, I can definitely do that. Well, we are a family-owned company. We started the business in 1980. My parents did, and my parents are still involved in the company. As far as myself and my brother as well, we're all still in the company. Started really in the Galveston area, moved to Austin shortly after they started the company, and really our target business is residential and commercial service. We do a lot of leak detection type work, which leads to insurance work as well. And so we kind of have a niche market in the leak detection business.
Okay, that's a big piece of it for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now we're running 6 service trucks that are just full-time doing service, and then we have 5 other trucks that do a lot of tunneling and drain repair, drain reroutes, stuff like that. So, we have 5 trucks that are doing our larger type dig work. Let's see, anything else about us? Our approximate revenue is $4.1 million. And as far as I would say at this point, 50% of our revenue comes from our residential and commercial service, and the other 50% comes from our leak detection and large dig type work.
Okay, so it's kind of a mix between the general service for residential and commercial and the hot, heavy underground digging and leak detection type work.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so it's about 11 trucks mixed between those two. Approximately how many employees in the company?
Right now, I think we have right around 25 in the company.
Excellent.
And we have a pretty unique situation here because we have S&D Plumbing, and then my brother runs a completely separate company called S&D Commercial Services, and their specialty is really troubleshooting and repairing hot water issues at like apartment complexes, any kind of commercial buildings. They've really kind of found a niche in that. So we work hand in hand together on some of these projects. I'll go in and do all the minor service work for commercial. Then when it turns bigger, I usually will pass that on to him. So, even though we're not the same company, we do work hand in hand in that. So it's pretty unique.
So it's kind of a reciprocal, separate division, separate companies, but you guys are able to feed on each other and kind of pass business back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah. Once it gets to a certain point where we feel like it's really out of my technician's expertise to be able to handle it, once it turns bigger to a bigger project, we usually pass it on to them because that's their specialty and they're really good at it. So.
Got it. Awesome. So that's fantastic. About 4.1 million, 25 employees, really solid company there in the Austin market. Tell me a little bit of the background on how your dad started the company and when you got involved, and just kind of give me a little bit of that background.
Okay. As far as how we started the company, I think originally when they first started it, before he started S&D Plumbing, he was doing water softener sales door to door,
Okay.
Finally realized that wasn't cutting it. So when he first started S&D Plumbing, he literally ran one truck for as long as I can remember. I mean, he was doing about everything he could do just to keep it afloat. He was doing new construction, he was doing service, and as a little kid, 5, 6 years old, I remember in the summer times going on the service truck with him, and we go out and maybe plumbing a big residential house, and if I helped carry pipe and do a few things for him, he'd give me $5 a day just for kind of being there with him. So that's kind of how, as long as I've been working with him, it was always a really cool atmosphere. And and all through school, I would spend my summers, me and my buddies would come to work here, and we would tunnel under foundations. We would do all the hard work through the summers, and so that's kind of how I got into it. And I've been full time in the company about I guess 15 years now. Right now I pretty much oversee the entire operations of S&D Plumbing. Both residential and commercial, both service and tunneling. But Rhonda, my mom here in the office, she's an office manager, and she's still extremely involved with the company as well. So it's very unique, being a family business. We all work really well together, believe it or not, and all under the same roof. So it's a pretty good thing we have going.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's a really cool environment that you guys have with the dad Sam, Rhonda, Sam Jr., you, and then all the success you guys are seeing in the business. You said something there that your dad ran it as a one truck company for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how or when the company kind of was able to make that transition from one truck to starting to be a more significant enterprise?
Yeah, I would say, probably about 20 years ago is when he started to grow more and more. I think a big part of that, it may have been 25 years ago, but I think a big part of that was once he found that niche into leak detection is when, once he realized that that's something he really wanted to pursue, that's when his company started to grow. He started to get, a lot of different accounts with big insurance companies, and it slowly started growing from there. But Josh, really I think some of the biggest success we've had to date has been probably the last 3 years since we really become engaged with QSC, become engaged with Plumber SEO, doing all of our online marketing and social media. I mean, we really dug into that and gone to all the classes and learned a lot. We have a business coach now, and it's really, at a certain point, I guess about 5 years ago, I was thinking to myself, what if we lose all of our insurance work? What would my company look like? And at that point, I would venture to say 75% of our work was dependent on insurance companies. And and I was and with everything going on in the government and all that, I was like, man, we would just be down to nothing. So that's when I really said, I got to figure something else out. I got to learn how to run a profitable service company, and then just the insurance work's kind of the gravy on the side type stuff. And since we started doing that, our business started growing a lot. 2 years ago compared to last year, I mean, we grew almost $1 million in sales.
Wow.
And the crazy thing is since we do dive into the insurance and the leak detection and the tunneling work, it's a very profitable market. I mean, even if we're just doing it for homeowners, it's pretty profitable, and it, I think most service companies probably have a net profit around 5%, and year to year, we consistently run a net profit somewhere between 20 and 25%.
Holy cow.
So,
wow. Awesome.
Yeah, so it's definitely, if somebody's thinking about getting into that market, it's definitely a great niche to get into is the leak detection, because not everybody can do it.
Nice. So that's exciting. So you'd say over the last 3 years, you guys have really grown by more than $1 million in total revenues for the company.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I mean, a big part of that is, as far as advertising goes, it's getting out of the yellow pages, which was something my dad did forever, and you would spend just more money than you could imagine doing that, and we started putting all our money into online SEO type work and social media, Angie's List and Yelp, and we've really seen great returns on that. I mean, we have a very minimal marketing budget here. I mean, really, compared to most companies, it's probably around 4 or 5%. We're running at about 2%, and I think this has something to say. I mean, we've been in this market for 35 years, so we are well known, and and so we get a lot of referral type work. But we just do our best to keep a great reputation, no matter what it takes, and it really pays off. So we're definitely proud of that.
Absolutely. So let's dive in, because I'm sure you've excited a lot of the listeners by talking about this significant growth over the last 3 years. Let's start to talk about some of the specific marketing strategies and techniques. And so I always, at this point in the interview, kind of talk a little bit about the fundamentals of your marketing plan for a plumbing business. And really, there are 3 core fundamentals. There's market, message, and media. So the market is, who are you selling to? And so as the owner of a plumbing business, you could say, oh, well, we serve all residential and commercial clients, and really cast such a wide net that you're not attractive to anybody. So really being clear on who that market is and who you're really targeting within your geographic area. Then there's the message, which is, what are you saying that differentiates you from the competition? How do you position yourself so that when you go after that target market, it resonates with them and they want to choose you as the vendor of choice or the provider of choice versus the competition? And then really the fun stuff of the media. And I always kind of lay that foundation, because when people listen to this podcast, they're just looking for the tactical piece, which is SEO, pay-per-click, email marketing, yellow page ads, radio. But unless you've spent some time really being clear on who you're serving and what your message is, all of those different channels and all of those different efforts will fall flat. So let's just talk a little bit, Dan, about who you consider to be your target market and the geographic area that you serve.
Yeah, I guess it really depends on what type of services we're talking about. But, as far as commercial goes, our target market is generally going to be multifamily, residences. We do a lot of hydrojetting type work, and we run, 3 jetters full time, which is a very profitable job.
Yeah.
It leads to other work, obviously, whenever you're doing the jetting, following up with the camera. So, I mean, that seems to be our big target area with commercial clients. We do restaurants as well. But I would say our main target right now is residential. As far as, I'm trying to think of a good example. But I would say, as far as our marketing goes, anything, I don't know. Josh, you may have to repeat some of the questions because you asked me a lot there. But
I dumped a lot on you. So your main target market then on the commercial side is very clearly multifamily residences, restaurants that really have higher level needs. And then on the residential side, sounds like it's homeowners, that have a certain income threshold within what would you say, like a 25 to 30 mile radius of your office in Taylor, Texas?
No, yeah, we actually cover a bigger radius. I mean, we probably cover, we go more west towards the Austin area from where we're located, and we'll go up to about a 75-mile radius from where we're at, just because we are, we're roughly about 20 to 30 miles from the Austin area, and but we definitely service more west of Taylor, and so we do cover a big area as far as that's concerned.
Okay, so that's the market piece. As far as the message, how do you guys position yourself in the market there, what's your unique selling proposition? How do you position yourself?
I mean, I think besides the obvious, besides our quality workmanship and reputation around here, family-owned business is always big. You know, I think, I mean, as far as how we position ourselves, I think the main thing we look for and feed off of is all the specialty type work. We do we always tell our clients we do the things that nobody else likes to do or knows how to do, which would be, our specialty leak detection equipment. We can go through and locate water leaks in slabs, trace water lines, stuff like that. We kind of dive into that type of work, and it goes both residential and commercial. Our multifamily, management companies, they generally want the cheapest work at the cheapest price, and we always tell them, if you want that type of work, we're not your plumber for that. We're your plumber for, maybe you have boilers and some reason half your buildings aren't getting the proper hot water, or you have leaks that we need to locate, or we have, or we need to do hydrojetting. We're more of your specialty type plumber. We're not always your day-to-day when it comes to those commercial type properties. But as far as the residential clients go, I mean, we just, the main thing that we concentrate on is the full customer experience. We train our techs to, once you get in the door, not only do you address the issues at hand, but you also, follow up and see if they have anything else we need to address. We do home safety inspections. We have a really cool membership plan that allows for, a lot of different perks like priority scheduling, discount pricing, stuff like that. So I think that kind of sets us apart from a lot of our competitors.
Absolutely. And so some really awesome stuff you shared there, and how you're positioning yourself. And one of the reasons I think you're so attractive, obviously, like you said, the years in business, family owned, and I think in all of your marketing, you really play up on that with pictures of the actual team, pictures of you guys on fishing trips, the fact that it's that family atmosphere, and then separating yourself in being the specialist and some of those harder to do, more complicated services. I think it is key to getting people to want to choose you because you guys are so likable, and then also the key to that higher level profitability that you have, because you're not just doing the basic vanilla services, but you're able to do the more complicated things that require more specialized knowledge and better equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So let's talk about media and some of the things you guys are doing in order to get the phone ringing, in order to get new customers. You mentioned that you'd done some yellow pages and you kind of pulled away from that and you shifted to the internet. Let's just kind of go through some of the high-level things, in order. Do you guys do any direct mail or Valpak or any of that type of stuff right now?
Yes, we do. I mean, we do a couple different things. We do a monthly newsletter. That's a monthly email that we send out, and it's a members-only type newsletter. It comes equipped with, a blog about different plumbing issues that may help a homeowner, and as well as whatever our special is for the month.
Awesome.
That seems to be a pretty cool product that we're doing now. And then, we just started. We've always done thank you cards and follow-up stuff like that, but we just really started doing a direct mail marketing program to where we are sending out our thank you cards, sending out follow-up newsletters throughout the year with coupons and information. So the customer, we try to get back in front of that customer at least 2 more times throughout the year to kind of remind them, and that's actually mailed products sent to their house. And then a really cool thing that we just started up that's just now cranking up is a referral program that will help us to actually track our referrals, reward our customers that are giving referrals in the form of cash and coupons to use. So I'm really excited about that, because that's one thing I've always thought is, man, we get so many referrals, and unless you just really take the time to get the name of who referred us and their number, it's hard to even call them up and say thank you sometimes. You just get so busy, you forget to do that. And this is going to be a great way to track who's doing that and who's getting rewarded for that. And so, I'm really excited about that program.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be powerful and really help you cement those relationships, get more repeat and referral business, which is awesome. You mentioned Yellow Pages and kind of shifting a little bit away from the Yellow Pages. Are you guys still in the Yellow Book at all? I mean, do you have a large ad? Do you have a small ad, or have you kind of removed yourself from that altogether at this point?
Yeah, I've pretty much done everything in my power to get us away from that. I mean, I don't know how long. I think it's probably been 5 years. But when I really took over the marketing aspect of the company, I really didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I was pretty much just a plumber trying to run a business, and you always had those influx of phone calls and people wanting to come in and sell you stuff. And I think it took me probably 6 months to finally get everything canceled, because you just always have those re-upping yellow page ads. And when I realized what we were spending in there, I was like, that is crazy. So, and that's when I found Plumber SEO, and now, to my knowledge, I know for sure that we don't spend any money on yellow page advertising. So, but at that point, we just stumbled upon Plumber SEO, and that's when I decided, hey, look, I'm going to dump at least 80% of my marketing budget into Plumber SEO, and that way we can really target the online keywords that people are searching on Google. We can do our pay-per-click and social media, because I'm sure there's other guys like me out there. I'm not big on social media, and trying to keep up with running a business and doing that can be very stressful. So, since I did that, it's really turned us around. I talk to customers that I go out and meet sometimes, and I ask them, how'd you hear about us? And they may be an hour away from Taylor, and they're like, well, I just kept typing in, Waterhouse repipe, and y'all kept popping up first on the list. And then I went and checked Angie's list, and y'all had good reviews. And so it's cool to hear that type of stuff. It just proves that having the right search words, for Google and different websites like that is really capturing our most profitable business. So it's really paid off for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that endorsement. I really appreciate it. I'm not asking for an endorsement on these interviews for those of you that are listening, but I really appreciate it, and that means a lot to us and to me. So you said something that a lot of people are scared about, and that's, will my business die if I come out of the Yellow Pages? And will my phone calls dry up, and will I be kind of like in a desolate wasteland? And at least in your case, in the market that you're in, you were able to shift those dollars online, and rather than seeing in leads and calls, you actually have been able to see a noticeable increase in leads and profitability in the business. So that's very cool.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I mean, once I got rid of that, I was pretty much saving money at that point. All the customers I had before that, I would say, by that point they already had our information, and and so when I did get rid of the Yellow Pages, I really didn't notice a difference in our sales.
Okay.
So,
now, how about radio, TV, billboards? Do you do any of that type of stuff? Or you guys? I know that you did some radio, I think.
Yes, yeah, we did some radio last year. Probably the last 6 months of last year, we did do radio. As far as our market, I would say it was beneficial to do the radio, but it probably wasn't as beneficial as what I was paying to do it.
Okay.
I found that really I needed to invest more money in my pay-per-click campaign, and then also invest more money in my direct mail marketing. That's one thing that I was really kind of missing out on, and so that's why this year we're really cranking that program up, and I'm kind of backing off the radio for now.
Excellent. I think it will have a more quantifiable return. The radio is, especially in a massive market like Austin, can kind of get lost in the noise. But it does help with branding. It does help with that recognition. So people say, "Oh, that's S&D Plumbing." But the pay-per-click advertising and direct mail should generate a more significant return. So that's just an interesting path that you've taken there. In terms of networking, and I know you guys are really active in the market down there. Are you guys involved in a proactive way in any of the networking groups like BNI or the Chamber of Commerce? Is that something that generates business for you, or is that something that you guys kind of leave out of the equation?
No, it definitely does generate business. I mean, we don't do any BNI groups currently, but we are very active in the Chamber of Commerce, different groups like that. My dad, he really does a lot of that type work, PACC, obviously QSC, but we really take a really active role in our community here in the Taylor area mainly, and it does generate a lot of our business. I mean, so it's definitely beneficial, and I would say at the very least, trade organizations like PHCC and QSC are extremely beneficial just in the knowledge aspect, just in the classes you can take. And once you dive into that and really start to meet people and take classes, and you realize, man, how much information can I get off of, really just meeting people that you can always email and ask questions, and everybody's, we're all competitors, but we're all friendly, and we all help each other out. So it's a pretty cool aspect.
Absolutely. So we've talked a little bit about internet marketing, and you mentioned SEO, PPC, and social media. So you would say that's a big element of your marketing strategy, the whole online marketing play.
Yes, yeah, definitely is.
Excellent. As far as online directory advertising, some of the ones we hear often to be pretty productive are like Angie's List, City Search, Yelp. Which of those are you actively engaged with, possibly with paid ads?
Right now, just Angie's List and Yelp, the two.
Awesome. And do you feel like that drives a noticeable flow of inbound leads, being on Angie's List, being on Yelp?
It definitely does. Yeah, I mean, with the Yelp, we even did they even came here and did a little online video for us for YouTube.
Nice.
So that was a pretty cool deal. So our customers can get on there and kind of, hear from me kind of about our company and all that good stuff. So that's really paid off for us.
Yeah, one of the things we hear often is Angie's List is a tremendous source of high quality customers. Yelp in certain markets can be really effective. And really the key to success on Yelp is your reputation. On Angie's List is your reputation and the number of reviews that you have, and of course those reviews being positive. How many reviews? I mean, not exact, but approximately how many reviews would you say you have on Angie's List? If you know, if you don't, it's not a big deal.
Probably not enough.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing I'm really. That's one of my goals for this year is to really concentrate on, getting more reviews. And that's one thing that I think starts from our technicians. Asking for those reviews. A lot of times, you always have the customers that. You have the customers that you have a really good experience with, and they'll go on there and do a good review, and then you have the crazy customers that everybody deals with that is all about doing the bad reviews just because they're absolutely nuts. So you got to respond to both of them. But that's one thing I know that we can do better. I couldn't give you an exact amount, but I'd probably say we have somewhere between 20 and 30 reviews on each Angie's List and Yelp, and
Yep.
It needs to be a lot more than that. So that's something that we're working on this year. We're also doing the Nearby Now, which is a really cool way to generate reviews, and so I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit, or.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about how you're using Nearby Now within your business process, and how that helps you get reviews.
Okay. Well, Nearby Now is a cool program because we can every time our technician finishes a service call, what we do is kind of give we give a picture of the name of the technician, a brief description of what he did, and we send that out in an email form to the customer, kind of asking for a review. And if they go on there and respond to that and give a review, it populates on not only our web page, but also, and you may correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but like Google Plus as well. And I think the really cool thing is if you go to our web page, you can scroll down, you can see our current nearby now reviews, and it populates a map that kind of shows our true coverage area. So when customers say, do you truly service, maybe they're an hour from where we're located, they can go online and see that we were just there 2 days ago or whatever, doing this service for this customer, and we had a great review. So when that is actively going on and current, it's really a cool way for customers to be able to see that we are active in their community.
Yeah, and build that social proof where they're like, okay, not only does this look like a cool company, but they're literally in our area, and this is what our neighbors have had to say about them. I think you guys have been active with Nearby Now for about 2 years or so, maybe a little bit less between when we set it up and when you started using it. I know that there's been a tremendous increase in reviews across the web, not just on Yelp and Angie's List, but also on Google Maps and all of those other places. So I'm sure that's been a powerful tool in your arsenal for building your reputation and also enhancing your online presence.
Yes, for sure. And I would say, as far as reviews go, I think I'm speaking for everybody. It's kind of a scary part of the business because not everything goes perfect. We all want to have great reviews, but what I find, it's just something that obviously we all have to deal with, but I think the most important thing to do with your reviews, no matter what business you're in, is to make sure that you are responding to every single review, because, you may have 4 or 5 stars on Angie's List, but not all of those are going to be good. And, I think when customers see that, hey, S&D Plumbing has, majority of the reviews are great, they have 1 or 2, the customer just sounds like they're nuts. And if you're responding, saying how much you appreciate the business and that you're thanking them for the review and you're trying to resolve the issue, what I find is those people never respond back. You'll always go on there and make a comment, and you'll try to resolve the issue and be real professional about it. And I think that also makes you look like, like you're a real company, because most people most sane people look at that and say, that customer kind of sounds a little crazy, or S&D may have screwed up, but here's the owner of the company on responding to it, trying to fix the issue. That's really cool. Yeah. And that's one, and that just kind of leads into one thing that we really drill into our technicians and our office staff and pass it on to our customers, is that we understand that we're going to screw up from time to time. Mm-hmm. But the nice thing about doing business with us is we're always going to come back and make it right. Whatever the cost is, whatever happens, we're always going to stand behind our work and make it right. And I think that all kind of flows back to having that good reputation, no matter what. So.
Absolutely, and that was a powerful insight. Just that, yes, there's a little bit of fear and apprehension when you request a review that somebody's going to jump on and write to nastygram, because problems do arise and things go wrong from time to time. But it's much better to push through it, be consistent with the requesting the reviews, and just know that a negative review might happen, but you can address it publicly, and the world's not going to judge you or just discount you because you have 1 or 2 lunatics that went on and wrote some nasty things about you online.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as you address it professionally.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, sometimes I have to take a step back and, okay, I'm going to go back to this tomorrow after I have a chance to cool down a little bit. That happens. Sometimes you just want to get on there and say, you're absolutely nuts, so that's definitely the professional aspect, not trying to make it worse is kind of the best way to approach those bad reviews.
Absolutely. All right, so now getting to the nitty gritty and really, what it all comes down to. So, what would you say out of all of these different things that you're doing, you've got a really nice marketing mix. What marketing efforts tend to drive the most leads for you?
I mean, I would say at this point probably our SEO type work. Hitting those keywords, picking up those customers is probably the biggest return on investment I have going right now. Pay-per-click has been good, but it's still fairly young. We just started that less than a year ago. So, I mean, I know it sounds pretty basic, but making sure you have a good coverage area, making sure you're working with a good company that you can trust, and then really figuring out what are the keywords that the customers can be searching for. Like, what's my most profitable market? And once you start hitting that, and we're in a really competitive market in Austin, so it's, we have a really small budget and we do a lot with it to really compete in Austin. But there's a lot more surrounding areas than just Austin. We can capture around Georgetown. There's a lot of big communities all around us that we're really, and they're all higher income type communities where we can really capture those customers and make, and have good sales doing that.
Absolutely. All right. So I didn't pay him to say that he was not solicited to say that, but it's exciting to hear that the SEO online marketing is really driving some of the best new leads and new referrals for you. So that's exciting. Now, just in terms of business in general, you talked about a lot of the different services that you offer, and there's a lot of guys listening to this that maybe they're just doing general plumbing service, unclogging the drain, fixing the leaky pipe. What services have you found to be most profitable for S&D Plumbing?
I would probably say, I would probably go back to jetting. Hydrojetting has been a very profitable business for us. Another very profitable business is the leak detection, because it always leads to, once you detect the leak, you can charge for that specialty service. Once you find it, then we got to go and make the repair, and so it leads to more work. And it goes the same way with the jetting. Here every one of our service trucks is equipped with cameras, and that's one thing that we don't charge for. We include it in our price, whether we're doing a sewer stoppage or a jetting work. It just makes sense for us to follow up the camera, spend 5 minutes with the customer, and what you find is that tends to lead to bigger work that's necessary. If you just auger a drain, pull the roots out, and say you're good to go, there's a reason why there's roots in the drain. So I think that's been a big, a profitable area for us. Also, I didn't really cover this before, but with our service technicians, one thing that we did change over the past 2 years is we went to, to where they're strictly working on commission. So it's a great incentive-based program to where these technicians, instead of having hourly technicians that are dragging around, milking the clock, wanting to get 50, 60 hours a week and not really producing, we've really gone to a commission system to where, these guys are getting rewarded for their sales. We have plumbers making $40+ an hour, when you calculate it out for the week. So, that's, in my market, that's unheard of to pay them
right.
high. But when they're that good, they're that good. And the main thing we got to look out for is, the main thing I look out for personally, and the company does, is making sure that we're not cheating our customers out. That's the big part. Some people hear that commission and they think, well, the guys are just selling unnecessary stuff. Mm-hmm. The main thing is you got to find the right technicians. I had to let one go just recently for that reason, and he's really the only one I've had to let go in the past 2 years for that reason. And when it starts happening. So what we always preach is, we're always going to give the customers what they need or what they want. Because it's amazing. You go into a house and my guys are even skeptical sometimes, and you go into a house and you think, this guy's got no money, I'm just really going to try to fix it as cheap as possible and get out of there. And before you realize that, you start building that rapport, building that relationship with the customer, you may walk out of there with a $3,000 ticket by the time the day's up because he wanted everything done to his house and he loves it. It's
Right.
just it's wild because some mindsets people think that that's not possible, but until you really get in there and offer those opportunities, you know, you just won't realize, how that is possible. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So that has had a noticeable impact in profitability, converting the guys from being paid a wage per hour to actually just being strictly commission based.
Exactly. And the nice thing is it goes both ways because, my philosophy here has been, I want every truck to operate like it's its own business inside of S&D Plumbing. So all we are is kind of the people that obviously capture the work and hand it out to the technicians. But I try to make them grow up a little bit. I make them do the full aspect, call the customers, set up the inspections, do all that type of stuff because they're getting paid to do that. And what that allows is for less management. We don't have to hire a manager for every 2 trucks or 4 trucks or whatever it is. You can really cover the whole aspect if they're taking care of their own business. And it really has worked out well for us. So you'll see, you may see a couple technicians that are really killing it, and then you may see some that are really struggling, and they're getting, $14, $15 an hour, and those are the guys you really got to coach up and really got to figure out, why is this happening? So it's on both ends of the spectrum, and sometimes you just may have a technician that's just not cutting it. They're just wasting too much time. So it definitely makes them take ownership of their business, and it's really cool. And then another thing we're doing this year for our large job crews is we're really trying to incentivize everybody. So we job cost all their jobs, and we have a different scale of bonuses based between like 45 and 65% gross profit on the job, and then we hand out bonuses at the end of the month to each guy for different jobs that they did well on for that month. So that's really a really cool way to do it. And then we even spiff and bonus our CSRs. We bonus them based on the gross sales of the company for the month. Our target sales for the month, and what we do is we just pull together a sum of money, and we split it up evenly throughout the ladies in the office, and then we run we run spiffs on membership sold, total C's, which is like a bio product sold. We do different stuff like that, and we let everybody get involved, even the ladies here in the office. A lot of times you find that they, whenever they're booking the calls, they're already pre-selling the products. They're already pre-selling.
Plant the seed for that.
Yeah. So when the technician gets out there, there's really, the customers are inquiring about it. And it's a really cool benefit for everybody. So.
And I'm sure that has a major impact on that ability to hit that 20 to 25% net, because you don't have people that you're paying just for the sake of paying them. You've got everybody engaged in the growth and profitability of the company, and it's a true performance-based environment. Where would you say you learned how to implement that in your company? Because that's a specialized business process that I'm sure a lot of our listeners would love to learn more about.
Yeah, I would say I definitely didn't invent the wheel. When I really it's through QSC,
okay.
Quality Service Contractors. I guess 3 years ago we went to our first meeting with them. We really started to dive into the service manager training and stuff like that. And we really started to talk to the other companies in the room and figure out that, man, there's a whole nother. There's a great way to run a service company that we really need to learn how to do. And we started going to their conferences and taking the classes. And then I think the biggest thing I did personally was, I have a business coach through that organization that comes to my business once a quarter, and he helps me with all that information. He has that information with him that he can pass on to me, and all we pretty much do is customize it to our company. We figure out what percentage of commission we want to pay our technicians, and we put our logo on it, and we just, so they have a template. We just kind of make it our own. And I 100% could not have done it without that. I just did not. I just did not know enough people in the industry that were doing that. But once you go to these conference meetings and you talk to all the other plumbers throughout the nation, I mean, that's what the most profitable, successful service companies are doing is they're on an incentive-based program for their technicians. Flat rate pricing was also something that we went to, which has been really nice, and it's definitely paid off for us.
That's powerful, powerful information here on the Plumbing Marketing Podcast. And obviously we're talking about marketing strategies, we're talking about getting the phone ringing and growing the business, but the other side of it is how do you maximize efficiency, how do you maximize profitability? And so, following the model of what Dan's talking about, look into QSC, find out what it's all about, meet with some of the other contractors, get a business coach, and you can see more dollars hit the bottom line that you get to put in your pocket for all the revenue that you generate. So thank you very much for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of guys are going to be excited about learning more about commission-based incentive plans and flat rate pricing. So great stuff there.
Yeah, and I would say probably the biggest aspect of joining something like QSC and PHTC is you got to really, if you're going to do it, you need to plug in, because we did it, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, and we didn't plug in. And at that point, we thought, well, this is just dollars wasted every year. So we got out of it, and it wasn't until we actually decided that, hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to jump in with both feet, and we're going to learn. And that's when it really started paying off. So if y'all are thinking about joining something like that, make sure you're ready to go to those conferences, and you're ready to learn, and you're ready to get a business coach in there, because I always joke with my business coach. I say, it's nice to have you here because you make me do everything I hate to do, which generally is
hold your feet to the fire, right?
It's anything financial. It's all that stuff. I get so tied up in the day-to-day. I don't want to have to go back and do all that stuff. So when he comes in once a quarter, we change things. We do stuff like that. We kind of look at the overall aspect of the company. We add, we do a lot of really cool stuff, and we always have a great agenda. And he usually comes for 3 days in a row, and he makes me sit down. He makes me, I can't go in the field. I can't do everything I want to do. And we really grinded out those 3 days, and it's really definitely paid off for us.
Powerful stuff.
I mean, and something else I talked about earlier was going from an hourly type pricing to a flat rate pricing. And I was like everybody else in the industry that's been been doing the hourly rate forever. We did it for 30 years, and then we switched to flat rate. That's a pretty scary thing. You think customers are going to hate that whenever we got to give this big price up front and all that, but it's completely the opposite. I mean, it's turned out to be a blessing for us. I mean, customers greatly appreciate it, and it gives them the opportunity to make decisions, but their own buying decisions instead of, I always remembered when I was doing service, the customer be watching his watch, and I'd be running out to the truck to get the parts. We're trying to get it done within an hour. That type of stuff. That's just not a proper way to do business, because at the end of the day, there's just so much more you can get when you're doing the flat rate pricing.
Right, and you can control your profit margins and have a better experience for the client, which might feel a little bit counterintuitive when you're not doing it yet.
Yes, yeah, it's definitely a scary step, but it's definitely a step that I think that any true service company needs to be in that, doing that type of work. I mean, even our commercial customers appreciate it, so it's definitely a nice way to go.
Awesome. Another thing I know that you guys are doing that's unique, and it's a challenge that every one of the successful plumbing and HVAC contractors I talk to is dealing with, and that's, okay, we've got the successful business, we've got the leads flowing in, but we've got a challenge in finding good quality technicians that know how to do the work, but also have the ability to be selling technicians. And obviously that's something that you and your father have been trying to innovate to bring in more of those higher quality guys at a younger age that you can train up and really grow into the types of techs you need. So if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about what you're doing, because I really think it's very exciting.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're doing a couple different programs, and I would say as far as service technicians, licensed service technicians, the most success we've had out of that is going through the Veterans Avenue. Hiring veterans to come in here. Just in particular, one of our newest service techs was he was in the Navy. He worked on ships. He did the plumbing in the ships and stuff like that. And once we brought him on, he was able to capture enough hours to be able to go get his journeymans through what he did, through the Navy. And so what you find is you get, he may not have been 100% qualified to go out in the service field, so it took a lot of training to get him to that point. But you have a kid with great discipline, a great look, great demeanor, and what we've done is we actually have a full-time service trainer here that he used to be one of our service techs, has a bad back. So we put them into a different role, and so whenever we're able to bring in kids like that to our program, we allow our trainer to train them for literally at least a month, maybe 2 months, to really get them into how what are the systems in place for S&D plumbing, and not only that, but also the technical side of it. So you're not going to get a guy out of the Navy or the Army or whatever that's ready to roll out in the residential real world. But they're definitely trainable, and that's been a great avenue for us. Another really cool avenue that my dad's been really involved with is working through the local technical colleges. We have some plumbing programs set up, and what we're doing is we're going to little trade shows at the local high schools, and we're picking up young kids that are usually junior, senior, and they're not the college type kids. They're the kids that like to work with their hands, that want to start a career, and we bring them in. They usually will work, till about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and they'll come in and they'll put up parts in our warehouse, and they'll learn fittings, and they'll go out on service trucks, and then they'll work the summers with us. And the program that we have set up is they also go to school, and and what happens is once they go through like a 4-year apprenticeship program leading up. I'm sorry, it's not 4 years, it's 2 years. Once they go through that, when they graduate high school, all that time in the school applies towards their, their 2,000 or 4,000 or 6,000 hours to go ahead and get into their license and start working full time. So it's really been a cool avenue for us. I mean, we've had a few kids come and go, but we've had 2 recently, or 2 that's really locked in with the company, and one that's been with us almost 2 years now, that's getting ready to graduate, and then he's going to be off to getting his license. And then we have another one that's been with us about a year. And the reason why my dad really wanted to start the program like this in the state of Texas is he just realized that we saw kids, we knew kids, cousins, stuff like that were going to college for 4 years and graduating and working at Whataburger because they couldn't find a job in their general studies that they went to school for, and he started thinking, back in my days, there was actually a trade school, there were actually people that graduated high school and went into certain trades, went into the union, did certain stuff like this that, nowadays everybody's pushing, if you don't go to college, you can't be successful. Well, he's really trying to change that mindset and kind of kick it back to the old school, to where we're able to get kids directly out of high school into these trade schools and learning not only the school aspect of it, but also hands-on experience. And, I think it's going to prove to be extremely successful and beneficial for all the plumbing companies around here, because once people start engaging in that program, they're going to get, not only really good qualified young professionals, but we're also going to get people that are dedicated to your company.
Because you brought them through the training and you apprenticed them all the way into a real career.
Yeah, and what we always, the way we work is we say you get A's and B's in your classes. In that training program, we pay for it. So that's the way we do it. And it's really I don't know, it's pretty exciting. I'm sure he could really dig into it a little more, but it's something that's really, he's really revolutionizing the plumbing industry in Texas for sure.
I think that's awesome. So if there were other plumbing business owners in other states and they wanted to follow that path, could they reach out to like a local technical college and try and make some relationships, or is there any path that they could try and replicate this in another state?
I would probably say the PHCC is going to be, they are nationwide in every state, and that's going to be probably your best avenue to start, just because they could talk to Texas and realize what we're doing down here in Austin, and really gather all that information from our local branch. But yeah, I would say that would be the best place to start, and then from there, yes, you would take it on to like a local technical or junior college that may have programs like that you can really get into. But to really get detailed into that, I think you have to get my dad on the phone. He could really break down what all he's doing there. That's really his baby on that one. So
right, all right. So that's Sam Dowdy. If you need to talk with him, or just reach out to your local PHCC, let them know that hey, you feel like this would be a great opportunity to explore in your state, and they can connect you with PHCC Texas and kind of put your heads together and see how you can start to develop the plumbing trade or even the HVAC trade in your local state. So powerful stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one thing that I can always give out his contact information. If you're wanting to learn more about that, maybe his email, you can send him an email and he can really let you know what direction to go into on that.
Yeah, if you're willing to share it on the call, that's great. Otherwise, they can just reach out to their local PHCC, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, I would say. I guess I can go ahead and share it now.
Okay.
That's his passion. He would love for other business owners to be able to spread the to be able to spread that throughout. His email is sam@sanddplumbing.com. So
Beautiful.
It's just Sam at S&D Plumbing, all spelled out. And go ahead and shoot him an email if you're interested in that program.
And Sam and Dan are both wonderful guys, so I'm sure if you reach out to Sam, he'll graciously respond and be willing to talk you through it and help you, point you in the right direction at least. So awesome stuff, Dan. This has been a tremendous interview. I'm sure the listeners are just their mind is spinning because there's so much great information that you shared. Congratulations, really, on the tremendous success of the company as a whole, and your success in taking over the last several years and really accelerating the growth and putting all of these initiatives in place. Any last words you would want to share with the listener that may already be $1 million plus or may just be getting started and trying to figure out how to grow the business? Any additional nuggets of wisdom that you'd be interested in sharing?
I think the main thing I was always taught was, you got to find that niche and what you're good at, in the plumbing market. If you just want to be a general plumber, there's thousands and thousands of those guys all around you, So I think once you figure out, what is my niche, what can I really dig into, and it could be anything, I think that's when you're truly going to start to revolutionize the company. And then also just figuring out a way to really make your company an incentive-based company, to share the wealth with your employees that are doing well. Obviously you're not going to share it with the ones that aren't, but you'll find that that really changes the mood. One thing we're doing today, which is really cool, I told my service technicians, if y'all can all sell $10,000 a piece for the week, I'll do a steak dinner for everybody. So after work today, I got the grill here. We're firing it up. We're going to do steaks. We're going to do sausage. We're going to do a good old-fashioned barbecue. And, that's one thing that we've talked about this year. We want to really start doing is celebrating our wins.
Yep.
Having a really good time doing it. And another really cool thing we do, you mentioned that earlier in the interview, is we go on a fishing trip twice a year with our guys, and we go out for the weekend and we rent cabins and we get guide services and we do the full works and stuff like that. It's a great way to really bond with your employees. Everybody gets a little silly and get the guys away from their wives, and it just gets a little crazy. But stuff like that is what your employees look back on and think, man, S&D Plumbing is a great company to work for. It even goes along with Christmas parties and stuff like that. We just really try to have a good time working. And what we find is it really ends up paying off in the long run for the company.
Absolutely. So building that culture as you build your team that bonds everyone together, and not only makes it a funner place to work, but makes it so that the guys that work with you are loyal. They're wanting to serve the customers as well as possible, and as they serve the customers better, your reputation improves and the business continues to grow.
Yes, for sure. I think another really cool thing that I've done is I've right here behind my desk I have a huge dry erase board with an organizational chart on it. I got it all done up professionally to where the guys can see, okay, these are the different aspects of the company. This is the service department. This is the large crew department. This is the commercial sales department, CSRs, and really allowing a cool avenue to where the guys can see, what is it going to take for me to move to this level? And then you have that information right there in front of them, so they really see the full growth of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And they really realize that they're not forever going to be stuck in this position that I'm in. There's managers positions open. There's all these different type positions open, and there's a lot of room for growth, because eventually we do want to be a $10 million company, a year. But the main thing is allowing for your employees to see that there is potential for growth in your company.
So they see the potential and they grow with you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, Dan, again, thank you so much for your time. I think that this has been a tremendous interview. Lots of great information spanning from marketing to operations and really team development. Those of you listening, thanks so much for your time. If you'd like to listen to other interviews like this, learn more from the leaders, really the guys that are excelling and doing great in their plumbing or HVAC business, you can subscribe for the podcast at plumbingmarketing.net. That's plumbingmarketing.net. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you guys or talk to you guys again soon.